If you're in industrial manufacturing doing PPC advertising, chances are you're doing it wrong. Watch this video and I'll show you how we help companies make millions of dollars doing advertising. What's up guys, I'm Kyle Milan. I feel like it's been forever. It's probably been a couple weeks, right Laura? I need some engagement out of you. Leave some likes, comment below questions you have. Today we're talking about advertising, specifically advertising for you industrial manufacturing companies. And the question is, does it work? So if you guys are new to my content, I own Manufacturing Tribe. We are an industrial sales and marketing agency. I've been industrial for my entire life, various roles, engineering, all the way up to sales and marketing. And I said, you know what? Screw it, I'm gonna start my own company 8 years ago because most marketing companies and agencies suck when it comes to industrial. Don't want any haters out there. I got enough haters as it is. Most of them suck. They don't understand how to talk to purchasing, operations, engineering people, how to market to them, sell to them, talk to them, all that stuff. Where do you want to get attention from them? Most people don't know. So I started this agency 8 years ago, and here we are blowing it up, the top industrial marketing agency out there for sales and marketing. So for those of you that are like, you know what? I need a marketing agency, but also someone that understands sales, that's us. Nobody can touch us from that standpoint. Nobody has the offerings that we offer, and I'm done promoting ourselves. Let's jump into the show. All right, so does PPC advertising work for industrial companies? Yes and no. If you own an industrial company, work in marketing, have agencies doing PPC for you, I think that you guys will find a lot of what I say in today's show very relevant and possibly some eye-opening information. How do I know what I'm talking about? This is not just like, oh, we manage $2,000 a month. I'm talking millions of dollars a year this agency manages from a PPC standpoint across multiple different products, services, industrial things, as well as events, shows, associations, everything in between. They all have one goal. They're trying to get someone to pay attention to them to either buy their service, buy their product, attend some sort of event. So I've got a lot of data to support why we do the way we do it. Nothing that we do today is the same as it was 6 months ago, 12 months ago. It's always shifting and changing. You have to make sure that you're paying attention to the data, making micro adjustments, seeing what works, and testing out new methods. I'm not here to tell you that TikTok or Facebook advertising is where it's at. I'm here to cover the main areas of where you can get attention from. So point number one, you have to start with what is the intent behind your advertising? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to get someone to recognize your brand? Are you trying to push your brand out there? Some people don't want to do that. They're like, no, I only want to focus on actionable type of advertising. I put this ad out there, they click it, they go to the website, they take some sort of action, RFQ, RFP, buy your product. That is a way to do it. But a lot of times companies aren't focusing on the standpoint of your brand, building your brand. Now, you can't have it be tangible to where you say, I spent this much money and this is the revenue I got from it. Brand awareness campaigns are more long-term plays to try and push the brand out there. You can look at metrics of traffic, engagement, things like that, but those aren't meant to like deliver a purchase. That's not the main intent behind it. The main intent is push the brand out there. If a purchase happens, great, but you have to look at first, what is the intent behind your ad? I'm sure you've already done that. I'm sure if you run an ad, you're like, the intent is to buy something. All right, cool. The next thing is, who are you trying to get attention for and where are you going to get that attention from? This is where people make the mistake. Google Ads. I feel like most people in industrial that are doing advertising have touched on Google Ads, and most of the time it does not work. Why doesn't Google Ads typically work in the best capacity for industrial companies? I'll tell you why. Half the time it's because the campaigns aren't set up correctly. And it's from a simple standpoint of the keyword match type. There's 3 different types of keyword match types you can do on Google Ads. There's exact, there's phrase, there's broad. And when we get a new client, we jump in there, I'm like, oh my God, they're spending $7,000 a month on Google Ads and they're doing a broad match type. What that means is that there's just a portion, a word in your keyword phrase you're trying to go after that needs to be typed in for your ad to show up. So you're getting a lot of people that are not clicking through to your website and actually taking action. You get high bounce rate. What does bounce rate mean? The percentage of people that go to your website and leave right after seeing it. They don't go further into a second page. If your bounce rate on a Google ad is 90%, that means 90% of people are clicking the ad, going to your website and leaving. They're not going deeper. That is a horrible bounce rate for a Google ad. You want to try and get that thing as low as possible, ideally 0. Every single person that goes to your site after clicking a Google ad goes to more than one page, but that's improbable to happen. So 50%, 40, 50, 60%, if your campaigns are set up properly, that is achievable, but it has to be done in the upfront with first the match type, the words and the creative and how you're wording it and site links and extensions and all that stuff. That plays into it, but the biggest bang for your buck is check the type of phrase matching that you're doing, the match type. Is it broad, exact, or phrase? That can typically drastically reduce what you're spending because you're getting narrower, and it's also going to improve your results with click-through rate, decrease your bounce rate, and get more engagement and potentially more revenue. But too often times, companies aren't paying that close attention because Google Ads will say, hey, here's a suggestion for you. In order to get more traffic, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And people are just like, yep, that makes sense, it's Google, but they're trying to spend your money. They don't have your best interest in mind. They're just trying to say, here's how you can get more traffic, not necessarily the right type of traffic. And that goes into the intent behind why someone is searching. If you're focusing on search and you're waiting for somebody to search for you, service that you have, product offering that you have, you don't know the intent behind why they're searching. Are they doing research? Are they looking at it from a competitor standpoint? Are they doing a paper on it? Are they a student? Or are they actually looking to buy, educate themselves, and make a decision on purchasing or investigating a service or purchasing a product? Because you don't know the intent behind it, you're kind of at a wild card. You can put negative keywords and focus keywords and all that stuff in it, but it's not typically the best, especially from the standpoint of competition. So Google Ads can work if it's done very strategically. I typically would tell people, instead of spending that money on Google Ads that's not really getting you the right amount of traffic, let's focus on organic SEO. If you don't believe me, go ahead and Google search percentage of people that click a Google ad. People will think, oh, it's at the top. 100% of people are clicking in one of those 4 ads. It's actually not true. It's more like 25 to 30% of people that search something are going to click one of those 4 or 5 ads that show up. Or maybe if it's a low search volume key phrase, it's only 1 or 2. Only 25 to 30% of doing it. Then they go into the organic results, and that yields another 25 to 30%. Then the second organic position, that drops down to like early, low 20s. Then you get into the third, and it drastically drops. So go ahead and do your research, Google search it. Everybody has their own little way about explaining it, but for the most part, 25 to 30% of people click ads. 25 to 30% of people are clicking first organic position. So I'll tell companies, dude, let's just focus on organic because people are smart. You're going after engineers or operations people. They don't just click the first thing they see. They scroll past and look for something that speaks better to them. So can Google Ads work? Yes. Is it the best possible solution for you? No, it's not. We'll get into some other areas. At a minimum though, doing Google ad retargeting, website traffic comes, so traffic goes to your website, you want to retarget them wherever they go throughout the internet. That is a good play. That's going to be super cheap. You can do that for $100, $200 a month, depending on how many physical people are going to your website a month. If you're getting a couple thousand people to your website every month, you're going to spend about $250, maybe $300 on retargeting, and you're just showing your graphic, your logo somewhere else, wherever advertising is offered through the Google search partners, and you retarget them to keep you in front of them. That's perfectly fine. You can retarget them also on Facebook and other social platforms, but retargeting I'm cool with. Google search though, I'm a big bully against it unless it's very strategic. Who are you trying to get attention from? It's either going to be engineering, operations, purchasing, or it's going to be a brand awareness play. You have to think about, where are they spending most of their time? Are they going to Google search? Are you going to wait for them to have a need, type it into the search, fight with the organic, fight with the paid people? Or are you going to try and hit them on platforms where it's in front of them, where they don't have an immediate need now? They're not going to the market to search, which most of the time in industrial, they're not like, oh my God, I don't know what type of company I should use for this. Let me go search metal stampers or robotics integrations. They've already been pitched to it. They've already seen people through social, through trade shows. So they have a good idea. They start reaching out to some people. Then maybe they go to search if they don't find what they're looking for. But the point is, you have to get in front of them before they are searching. The best way to do that is going to be using LinkedIn. LinkedIn is expensive. It's more cost per click because you're targeting people at companies with job titles, seniority levels, experience, all of that stuff. LinkedIn's the only platform that has that. People are not updating their resume on Facebook. They're updating like what they ate and fun things that they did and trips that they went on. But from a LinkedIn standpoint, they're the only platform that has that relevant, up-to-date information that you could do filtered, targeted advertising against. Therefore, they're going to charge you more. It could be $4, $5, $6 a click if you're going after CEOs of companies, whether they're big or small. or high-level VPs at big companies, it could be $12 to $14 a click. It is well worth it as long as your creative, which we'll get into, is on point. So if you're gonna spend money on PPC, I would say go down the path of going to LinkedIn. First, Google retargeting is somewhat of a must, as long as you have a couple $100, because that's just, you already spent some sort of money, some sort of time getting traffic to your website. You want to retarget them if you can across other places that they go. So check that box off, Google retargeting. Then go into LinkedIn and do sponsored posts. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you go on LinkedIn and you scroll through your feed, every couple of posts, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 8 posts that you see will be a sponsored post. That's where you want to focus your attention on. The dollar amount that you're willing to spend, it's gonna be resultive of what position you're at. So the first ad position is typically the second thing that you'll see on LinkedIn. That person is willing to spend the most amount of money. As you keep scrolling, you get to the 6th, 7th, 8th post that you see on your home feed. It's a second ad position. That person is willing to spend a little bit less. It's the same pricing model as Google, where you're spending a penny more than the person, the next highest bidder. You're only spending a penny more than them. But you got to kind of figure out, like, where do I want to show up? You do not want it to show up at the end, because most people in industrial are not scrolling endlessly on LinkedIn. I personally don't like the first position either. The first position, it's too quick. When we've watched people and asked people to scroll on their phone on LinkedIn in industrial, they kind of look at the first post and then they do a big swipe up, and they typically will skip past the second or third. So I always like to be at that second, third position for advertising, which is typically position, let's say 8 to 15 on their feed. That's where you can make a lot of revenue from, because, and if you guys don't believe me, check out the video, how I made $1.6 million off of LinkedIn, which is on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, go over there and subscribe to it and turn on notifications, because I lay all of this out, exactly how we did it for ourselves and how you could do it for yourself. Or just hire MFG Tribe to do it for you, and we'll make you a lot of money. But you can be very strategic and focused. You can say, I only want to show this ad, this creative, to engineers at these 125 companies. Those are the only people that are going to see it. You can say, I only want to show to managers of engineers at these 125 companies. You can say, here's a list of 600 people from HubSpot, from my CRM system, that I want to market on LinkedIn. I have their contact information. LinkedIn will try and find them based on what you give them in this uploaded list, and they're the only people that are going to see that ad. How much more easy can it be to say, I'm going to strategically focus on this? You spend $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 a month on LinkedIn, you will get something in return. Now, if you're going to be selling them a $20 product, don't do it. This is for companies that are selling $1,000 products and way above. A $500,000 machine, a robotics integration kit at 1.6 million. Then you're only going to spend maybe $500 to get the right person to then come into your funnel and then close them. Like, that's dollars well spent. LinkedIn advertising is the best. Emails typically suck. The text thing that they do where you're at the top, that typically sucks. Now, we've been doing this for, like, I don't even know, since 2016, when it first became self-serve, when you didn't have to spend $25,000 a month for LinkedIn to manage it for you, and it was self-serve just like Facebook and everybody else. That's how long we've been doing it for. We do it for clients, for ourselves, and it just works. So LinkedIn is a great way, because you're getting them before they're searching. You're saying, here's something that's relevant that I'm going to put in front of your face, that if you're in metal stamping, or you're in robotics, or you're in distribution, I'm going to put something that gets you to pause. That's all the creative is supposed to do, is get you to pause, and then they take action from there. So I want you to really think about that. If you're going to spend money on advertising, because it can work if it's strategic, look to LinkedIn first after you do Google retargeting. Next point is going to be, are you on the right platform? Most people are not on the right platform. Most people are like, I want to do Google search, and I want to do these media buys, and I want to go after these people here. And if you're not able to strategically focus in to say, this is my target demographic on those platforms, it is a waste of time. You're just spending dollars hoping that, like, oh yeah, I got traffic, and then like wishing that the numbers look better and hoping that people actually take action. And most of the time they're not going to, because you're not able to strategically target it. All of your advertising, there should be a strategy behind it, and it shouldn't just be, I'm going to create this and put it everywhere. It has to be as focused as possible. And once you get down to it, if it's too small, too narrow, it's like a rifle shot, where it's like, I'm only going after one person or one group of people, and it's like 200 results. If that is too focused, then you can remove some of the criteria to expand it out a little bit, but you don't want it to get too big and say, I just want to go after everybody. That's where it's going to work the most, but you have to be on the right platform. TikTok, not so much. YouTube, yes, if you can figure out what that person is watching. It depends on your service and your product. If you're just like, I sell to engineering-minded people, go and do YouTube advertising, create a video ad that is going to go after, displayed on channels that are meant for engineering-minded people, and you can get more attention from them. But if it's like, I want to go after engineers in aerospace in this size company in this geographic region, you're not going to see the best results with it, because it's like, what are they watching? It's kind of going to somewhat be of more like a shotgun approach, kind of. But if you can't go in very specific, then you're probably not going to love the results you get. But it's better than just saying, I want to throw this up on Facebook, because everybody out there, B2C, B2B, says, oh my God, Facebook advertising is the best. It can be for very specific circumstances, retargeting. And if your demographic is on there regularly, then it can work. But YouTube is going to be better, and so is LinkedIn for industrial people. It can work for Instagram and Facebook, but it's very specific situations. The next thing is going to be, what's the creative? They want to hit relevant keywords, phrases that get them to stop. They see it and they're like, oh my God, that's me. I'm going to pause here and look at it. But if you go back to the first point, I'm saying don't spend too much time on Google search, because it's not typically the most controllable and strategic. With the retargeting, it's a graphic, it's a logo, it's a couple words, you can figure that out. The best way to be creative is with video or with a graphic on social or on YouTube. Video is going to be the best way to tell a story, because people can get a few seconds into the video, but you have to make sure that, what is the environment like? What is the person's mindset when on this platform? On LinkedIn, are they just buying time? Are they just endlessly scrolling? Are they eating lunch and they don't want to just sit there and stare at nothing, and they want to scroll while they eat? Totally cool. So you want to have some sort of ad that is entertaining, engaging, catches their attention, and is relevant. Relevancy is number one. If it's not relevant, it doesn't matter what words, fonts, colors, images you use. If it's not relevant, they're not going to stick and watch it. But you have to look at the creative and say, I'm going to be advertising to this target demographic on these platforms, and then create the creative based on those platforms. Too often companies say, hey, so we got some creative, we want you guys to do the advertising for us. And I look at the creative, I'm like, this creative is shit. It's not going to work on this platform. We're going to have to redo the creative. And it's like, you can't create something and just say, I've got something, now push it out there. It has to be customized, even a little bit. Even with some videos and stuff like that we've done for some of our clients and for ourselves, we've taken it and we're like, this is a 30-second video, but I want to shift what's said in the first 2 seconds. So we have to edit that video to where it's a bigger hook, bigger relevancy up front. And maybe it's like subtitles, like this has no subtitles. They're probably going to be watching this on mute. So you need to have subtitles up front, or some words on the screen that catches their attention. So even when you have a video that's like, this is a good video for ads, you have to adjust it based on platform. YouTube videos are going to be different than if you're doing videos on LinkedIn for advertising. So always look at the creative and say, creative is the last aspect. You can have an idea and say, we're going to want it to be something like this. First, pick the target demographic. Who are you going for? If you can whiteboard it out, list out all the criteria, rifle focus, and say, okay, where are these people spending their attention? Is it on YouTube or is it on LinkedIn? Most of them you can get on LinkedIn, not daily, but most of this demographic, they're on LinkedIn at least once a week, twice, once every 2 weeks, to where you'll get them eventually. So first pick the target demographic, then pick the platform that you want to go on, then do the creative. Last and certainly not least is analyze the data. Now there's a million different ways you can say, I'm going to take this LinkedIn traffic, send it to a landing page specific where only people from this ad platform can get to and nobody else. It's like just a hidden page or a landing page. That's fine. You can do that if you want to measure traffic that way. But you have to look at the data on a monthly basis at a minimum and say, how is this working? Am I getting enough watch time, views? Are they going to the website? Are they taking action? Do I have a scroll heat map, a click heat map to where I'm saying they're going to the website and this is only the page that they can go to? How much are they scrolling? Is 50% going all the way down to the page? What does that data tell us? And then make adjustments. You also do not want your creative to become like stale. So looking at the data, you may be like, these ads aren't performing as well. Let's throw an A/B test in. Let's throw a different creative in there to see if it changes. Look back to the data and make adjustments. If you're not looking at it on a weekly basis, at a minimum a monthly basis, then you're just wasting money. I mean, we've got some clients that are spending $25,000 a month And when they came on to us, I was like, oh, how often do you guys meet with your agency? And they're like, once a month. I'm like, how often are they making changes to this stuff? I'm like, not for like 4 or 5 months. Like, they were really testing out. They really said they needed to test it out. Dude, you don't need to test it out for that long. Like a few weeks to a month, you can get a good idea of adjustments you need to make. Then you make those adjustments and look at the results after that, look at the data, and that will tell you what you need to do. But it goes with everything I'm saying. If you're doing sales activities, calls, emails, things like that, look at the data. Is that effective? If it's not effective, then stop doing that. Look at the data of your deal sources. Where are most of our deals coming from? They're coming from these areas. Focus more attention on that. It's no different than with advertising, but I just feel like too often industrial companies get swooped up into an advertising agency that says, we manage $50 million a year in ads for Nike and Under Armour and all these brands and these makeup brands. And they're like, okay, yeah, they know what they're talking about, but they don't know industrial. Go ahead and ask me what an engineer is thinking when they're reading this. Tell me the top 3 traits of an engineer off the top of your head. Or purchasing people, what do they want to see? Typically, they just want to see reduction in pricing. But from an advertising standpoint, what do they want to see? I mean, if you can scream, we will give you the cheapest price ever, that's what most purchasing people would love to see. Most, I don't need any hateful comments, that's most, not all. But you have to know what they want to see, what they don't want to see, and where they spend their time and attention. And if you don't know that, there's no possible way you can be as effective as you want to. So if you guys aren't getting the results that you want to see, head over to msgtribe.com and we will hook you up. You'll either talk to Alex or Mason. We'll get you in there, have a discovery call. Head over to YouTube, subscribe to that, turn on notifications. If you want to listen to this on a podcast, head over to any podcast platform, Technical Sales and Marketing with me, and you'll be able to watch it. And we will see you on the next one.